With the pastor, her husband Randy makes a decision that threatens to destroy it all.
Randy was one of the individuals that was charged with reviewing the church funds, and he believed that one of the checks, a $3,000 check, had been improperly cashed, and that it was something that the pastor had used for his own personal reasons. It was something that bothered Randy enough that he confronted the pastor about it and told him that he believed that this was a misuse of the church funds.
Proof right here.
Cornered and furious, Pastor Love denies the accusation.
I'm not willing to run my ministry by a checkbook.
For Randy, the pastor's angry denial is unacceptable.
It bothered him enough that he actually resigned from the church at that point and pulled his family from the church as well.
Randy's resignation will send a shockwave through the congregation. His family has been with New Hope for over a decade, and he's a senior member of the church. Suddenly, David Love sees Randy not just as his lover's husband, but as a threatening enemy.
Randy Stone could raise questions about the use of money at New Hope Baptist Church, but also he was removing easy access to Teresa Stone.
No one is more upset and furious about that than Teresa herself.
How can Randy do this to me? He's pulling me out of my church without my permission. He's taken me away from my beloved, and from any chance of becoming the pastor's wife. How dare he? I hate him with all my heart.
Tensions are at an all-time high in this volatile love triangle, and someone is about to snap. For the past 10 years, Teresa Stone has been having an affair with David Love, the pastor of the New Hope Baptist Church in Independence, Missouri. Teresa's husband, Randy, doesn't know about his wife's lover, but he's accused the charismatic pastor of embezzling money from the church, and he's just resigned in angry protest over it. Little do any of them realize, tragedy lurks just around the corner. 2 weeks later, on March 31st, 2010, a 911 responder receives a frantic call. A man has been found in his office, lying unconscious in a pool of blood. When officers arrive on the scene, they find a woman in hysterics kneeling next to the man who's been killed by a gunshot to the back of his head. It's Teresa Stone. And the body next to her is her husband, Randy. As police calm Teresa down, she walks them through how she found her husband.
Late in the afternoon, she apparently walked into the office, called out for her husband, and then went a short distance down the hall to her office, and there she saw her husband's body on the floor.
Homicide detectives scour the crime scene for evidence.
It was pretty evident from the beginning of the investigation that this was not some sort of robbery. There was no forced entry into the office. There was cash sitting out on the desk.
So whoever did this had another motive, wasn't interested in money. Perhaps whoever shot Randy Stone was someone whom Randy Stone knew and trusted.
It's a chilling thought, but investigators have no leads on anyone who would want him dead. After a preliminary search, they find a critical clue next to Randy's body.
They collected from the scene a single solitary shell casing that appeared to be a .40 caliber casing.
The casing from the bullet that killed Randy. Then, detectives pull out a crumpled piece of paper from the bottom of the office trash can. It's a letter addressed to Teresa.
Happy birthday, love. We're not in control of things yet. When we are fully together, your birthday will always be exciting. You're the center of my world. I praise you. I adore you. I love you.
this unsigned love note written out to Teresa speaks to somebody having amorous feelings towards her. And it's not just some sort of short-term deal, but some sort of longer-term relationship interest.
And it doesn't sound like the letter comes from Teresa's husband, Randy, but from a possible lover. Police speculate that the letter had been thrown in the trash can recently in an effort to get rid of it. Teresa is brought down to this station for questioning. But from the start, detectives find her demeanor suspiciously calm for a woman whose husband has just been murdered.
She seemed to be largely composed. She did not appear to be visibly upset much of the time.
Officers begin with the two pieces of evidence found at the crime scene. First, they ask Teresa if Randy owned a gun that matches the .40 caliber casing.
Her response to the police was, he may have at one time owned a Glock 40 caliber, but she believes that he had sold that.
But when they ask her about the love note found at Randy's office, Teresa is suddenly speechless.
Initially, when she was confronted with the note, she denied having any knowledge of the note.
Hoping to refresh her memory, detectives leave the room to retrieve the note. But what Teresa doesn't know is that the interview camera is still rolling.
There's a point on the video where you can see Teresa kind of talking to herself.
When the detectives return, they press Teresa for an explanation. This time around, she changes